Alright, this is Resurrected Hobbyist with part 4 of Pairs. Last time, Noya was wrestling with the reality that she's going to be leaving Earth in about 30 days. That means leaving James. So, let's see where this goes. The question is piercing even enough that, even though I try, I can't find an answer easily. I'm going to sleep, Mel. Yes, Princess. I roll over on my side, thinking about James. He accepted the gift from earlier, didn't he? Kind of. I'm certain that something between us could change. I imagine my visit with James. I can't get it out of my mind, the way he looked at me so warily before shutting his eyes. Well, I mean, how many times have you come into a store and there was a news report about fire and death? I'm sure there's a question of trust in there. And also, I'm not entirely sure, he cares for you the way you care for him. So, he still doesn't trust me. Okay, we're on the same page. I sniff indignantly. Humans are such a wasteful bunch. Having actual intergalactic hybrid royalty fawning over you and not doing anything about it? Okay. Given what some of the royalty has done in human history, I'm not sure I'd want to get involved in that. It's kind of like, let me stick my hand into a wood chipper and see what happens. That just ain't going well. Or let me stick my hand into a box that has a 50-50 chance of it being a wood chipper. It's such an absolute waste, Mel. Mel is silent. Wisely, I roll over again, trying to find a cool, comfortable spot. One thing still bothers me about today, more than anything else. Why didn't he come back if the phone call wasn't important? He knew I was waiting for him, and yet... If I dwell on this further, I would start distressing, and that would only convince Daddy that I needed to leave even before he did. You're not wrong. Next time, I'll make you regret treating me like this. Is she talking about James or her father? It could go either way. I'm inclined to say her father, but there's enough ambiguity to make me say, I might be wrong about this. Mel, do you think I should let him go? I'm sure I hear a robotic reply as I drift off to sleep, but I don't hear it. Floating away to dreams of fire and smoke and the taste of terror. And vaguely, on the edge of my mind, dreams of James. So, Nans are not big on non-combat, are they? Everything is regarded as, accomplishment, conquest, statement of ability. I don't know, I feel like they don't have, boyfriend, girlfriend. I feel like they're gonna have, I don't have a word here, they wouldn't say, I'm dating her. They would say, she is my target, my claimed, my item, something. Something that basically says, they are mine. Because I am this strong, powerful, capable, intelligent, whatever it is. So, anyway. Embracing me back. Yeah, see, I'm, getting this kind of feeling that, Kitten is, one of the first Nans to really try and integrate with a culture as itself. I'm really feeling like the other Nans were okay, we'll integrate into your culture by making you serve us. And, it's a different thing. She's starting to get those kind of hints of, non-combat-oriented socialization. I don't know, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. We'll see. It's early morning. I'm sitting in one of the human parks, contemplating my options. I need some kind of plan if I really want to move forward with James, and the ship has been too noisy ever since the force started to break down for departure. A loud voice interrupts my meditation. I'll be honest, I don't think Kitten actually meditates. I think she's doing something else and calling it meditation. Go back to Mars. Mars. Okay. Weren't the Nayans from outside our solar system? Did I miss something there? I look up at the offender. Even an imbecile knows that Mars is much too cold to be enjoyable for any Nayan. Oh, okay, just a moron. Got it. It's a small, harmless little human sneering at me in an attempt to rouse some kind of reaction. Unfortunately, I want to use as much of my thinking towards what I'll do with the issues at hand. Can't you see I'm occupied? I don't have time to play with you right now. Leave me. The creature spews some kind of liquid at me. I watch unmovingly as the glob lands right beside my shoe. I don't understand the purpose of attacking with such a weak, wet expulsion. Poor aim aside, it's not even acidic. Yeah, see, again, like, I'm getting the sense that the idea that Nayan culture is all about conquest and achievement. You know, there is no emotional display. There is no art, at least not as we understand those concepts. There are logistics and efficiency. That's what I think of you lot. I don't care what side you're on. Take your space garbage out of here and leave us neutrals alone. You freaks can take them all with you too. Naturals, artificials, just you whole lot. Her gibberish is only vaguely distracting. I consider disintegrating her then and there so I can get some peace, but unfortunately I left my atom rifle at home. See, like, here's one of the things, like, okay, let me put it another way. Okay. Let me process what I'm saying for a second, then I'll speak up. So, up to this point, I've gotten the sense that Nayan culture is entirely based on, competition, achievement, accomplishment, and combat, depending on what term you want to use for what situation. And because of that, I don't think they have, like, a sense of art or beauty as, humans do. They look at things in terms of efficiency, capability, this tool versus this tool kind of thing. And with her saying just so casually, unfortunately I have my atom rifle at home. I don't know, like, that's just kind of sticking a quarter in the back of my mind and waiting for a song to play on something. I just don't know what song's on the box. Because, like, if I carry my gun, I am aware of it unendingly. Like, it's never out of my mind. If it's not with me, I know exactly where it is. It's like, it's never, darn, I left my gun at home. No, because if I'm saying I left my gun at home, there's some shit going down. It's that simple. But for her to say, just casually, unfortunately I left my atom rifle at home, that kind of paints the culture in a lot of ways. Pity. I stand, instead, taking comfort in the way I tower over her lithe little frame. I command you to leave this place. If you refuse to comply, I will be sure to peel your skin from your bones layer by layer, limb by limb, and atom by atom until there is nothing left of you to waste my time. Murder me? That's your alternative? I knew it. You're all a bunch of murderers anyway. Regardless of what I choose to do with you, when I am finished, you will not disturb me any longer. Punish her for defiance, reward her for bravery. So, as I've hinted more than once, I get the sense that the culture is founded on competition and aggression. So, someone who is older and having been through more contests, we'll say, might respect her capability and bravery. But Kitten doesn't strike me as someone who's mature. Not yet, anyway. So I feel like she's gonna try to punish her. That's what I'm going with, anyway. I don't have my rifle, but this is just impunity. To approach with anger is one thing, but to dare speak to me like a common soldier? I will not stand for this disrespect. I reach for the hand of my shock staff, twisting the handle. The whip setting is particularly nice for dealing with such things. The moment my fingers touch the whip, I hear someone call my name. Noya! James? I turn at the sound of his voice, almost startled. He runs up beside me, looking warily between us. The woman eyes him snarkily. How do you eye someone snarkily? Isn't snark like a vocal thing? It's the only way I've ever known it, but whatever. That thing is yours? You should put it on a leash. Oh, this woman's getting slapped. James freezes for a moment. Bite me. Oh, okay, that works too. That's not an answer. I asked you if that thing is yours. No, that is an answer. It's also the only answer you're going to get shy of I'm having you arrested for attempted assault and battery. And probably harassment and something else, I don't know. I'm sure I can make a case for spitting at Noya. I don't know. He looks at her slowly and speaks with a calm, measured voice. I don't have the time, patience, or crayons to explain it to you, so I'll forgive you for asking that question if you forgive me for not answering. I don't really understand what he means. He speaks of forgiveness? I open my mouth to protest, but James surprises me by touching me suddenly. He slips his arm around my waist, carefully directing me closer while looking me in the eyes. Ready to go? It takes me off guard. I wasn't aware that we were supposed to meet, but... Is that a yes? I suppose. He leads me away to another part of the park, leaving the woman and her cold stare far behind us. Further away from the disturbance, I look at James, shooting him a curious glance. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? They're both valid questions, but, order of priority, I think? You're out in the open. Isn't that, dangerous? What if someone recognizes you? I wave a dismissive hand. Usually I get a few stares, but most people ignore me. To them, all names look the same. Okay. James looks disturbed, so I try to comfort him. Don't worry, I'm confident that I could take any human. I admit I have a limit of probably 5 or 6 humans at once, but she's only one. I didn't feel like fighting her, but she was so insistent that she almost got vaporized for her troubles. He looks at me wryly, snorting a laugh. I know you're not joking, which I feel like should worry me, but honestly, I have a feeling that I would have had the urge to vaporize her too. Yes, I've worked retail, for 2 decades. I've dealt with every type of customer you can throw on the board and a few that should never be thrown on the board. 110% agree with Noya on this one. I've had the urge to vaporize customers. There have been a few times I've almost gotten into physical altercations with customers. And, sorry, James, you work in retail, buddy. I can guarantee you've had this sensation too. You didn't put enough honey on someone's pastry, even though it's the exact same amount of honey you always put on the pastries. Or, the pastries that you say are only available after 3 p.m. Someone gets in your face because it's 2 o'clock. Too bad you didn't get a chance to. What stopped you? Noya. You, actually. So, is James, trying to lead into a question here or something? I mean, if I run up to someone who is about to attack someone and grab their arm, preventing them from attacking that someone, I'm gonna make a pretty reasonable deduction that I'm what stopped them from attacking that person. Likewise here, Kitten was about to attack someone, James called her name, and... Oh, why'd you stop? Well, because you called my name. Does James have a reality perception problem? He doesn't connect events like that? Or is he trying to play a game here? Is he fucking with her? I don't know. We'll see. He looks at me with a strange expression on his face, then shifts a little closer to me on the bench. Me, huh? His arm presses against mine. Strange. Perhaps he does not notice how close he is. You shouted my name suddenly. Is a Nan looking at her claimed that strange? Claimed. Huh. So, was I actually literally right when I said they refer to, romantic interests or potential romantic interests as claimed? Apparently James is on the same question trend. Well, what do you call it, this type of bonding? Wow, I was right. Okay. Points, when you lay it out and I pick it up, I gotta call it. Good job. Dating. It's going out with someone you're romantically interested in. I'm your boyfriend and you're my girlfriend. Boyfriend and girlfriend? Would these terms not be confused with a male or female platonic companion? Well, there's terms like partner and significant other, but I don't think it's all that confusing. We don't usually use the title friend romantically anyway. Anyone can be a friend. Interesting. Bizarre. I gotta agree with KP on that one. I have one more question. Why did you tell that human to bite you? What sense is it to request pain? Is it not better to bite her instead? Ooh, kitten. What are you gonna be like when you discover BDSM? James looks at me wide-eyed, then bursts out laughing. Sometimes you're really... Looking into my eyes, he trails off, then clears his throat. I have to go back to work. Sorry, but, I almost forgot to ask again. Do you have anything like this? He holds out the little rectangle I often see him his communicator. I'm guessing this is supposed to be he holds out the little rectangle I often see him with his communicator. A communicator or something that can pick up human communicator signals? Either. Of course. Good. There's this thing called a phone number, and it's a way to contact me directly. I want to give you mine so you don't always have to keep bursting in the shop whenever you want to, but you have to make me a promise. Nans don't make blind promises. First, the terms. You have to promise me that for the rest of your time on Earth, you won't fight anyone anymore. Excuse me? If I'm understanding what's going on here, there's a state of war going on right now, and there is, racial special tension. Alien versus human versus natural, I guess. I'm getting the sense there are literally people that would want to attack, harm, and kill her for existing on this geographic location. Will I agree not to attack anyone? Okay, fair, I'll agree with that. Will I agree not to fight anyone who comes at me, bellowing a war cry? No. So, I don't know, maybe there was something I'm overreading and overstating, but I don't know. No, I'm not going to agree not to fight anyone. Anyone? He looks at me seriously. But I protest weakly, but in reality the promise is all too easy to make. My hours on this planet are numbered anyway. Fine. That was suspiciously easy, but Nans do keep promises, don't they? We do. He hands me a piece of paper. Good. If you can figure out a way to connect us together, then do it. I have someplace I want to take you, but it's at a specific time. If you call me before then, I'll definitely take you there. Okay. My eyes can scarcely believe it. This is all so bizarre. In a good way. James is never... I can't even finish the thought. Hormones. Gotta love him. I manage to find my voice as he stands, putting his hands on in his apron pockets. See you around, Noya. See you. My eyes trail after him until he disappears in the direction of the bakery. Mel, tell me how a phone number works. I need to know, stat. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it here for part 4. We'll write about 20 minutes. So, be sure to join me for part 5.